Game 5 of the Western Conference Finals, and we know whoever wins this game tonight will likely go on to win the series. In fact, when an NBA playoff series is tied at 2 games apiece, the winner of Game 5 goes on to win the series roughly 82% of the time. Oklahoma City will be a 5.5-point favorite. The total sits at 217.5, and the Spurs are coming off a big win in Game 4 by a score of 103-82. San Antonio shot just 39% from the field and 27% from three-point range, but they had an edge in free throw attempts, 32 attempts to 18 for Oklahoma City. Do you think some of that social media talk about flopping and cheating got in the heads of the officials? Perhaps. Or perhaps the league just likes to extend series and they want this one to go to 7. Wembanyama had 33 points on 11 of 22 shooting, 3 of 7 from beyond the arc, and that included a half-court buzzer beater. He was 8 of 9 from the free throw line. De'Aaron Fox had 12 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists. He played 31 minutes. Dylan Harper played 21 minutes after logging just 17 minutes in Game 3. So the injuries to the Spurs guards appear to be a little less of a concern than they were heading into Game 3. Fox and Harper at least appear to be able to play through whatever is ailing them. In fact, De'Aaron Fox looked pretty good in Game 4, and I expect him to have a big game here in Game 5. Stephon Castle, 13 points on 5 of 11, 1 of 3 from beyond the arc, 31 minutes. Now, those stats, not that significant. The significant stat is turnovers. One turnover. One turnover in Game 4, 1 turnover in Game 3 after turning the ball over 20 times in the first 2 games of this series. I did say that I thought that Castle would find a way to avoid the turnovers, and maybe the shift to Oklahoma City will bring back that concern. Let's see. We'll have a look at how that plays out. San Antonio is 8-4 against the spread in their last 12 versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. Keep in mind, I think heading into Game 4, a lot of people had forgot that San Antonio dominated the regular season series, and the adjustments that the Spurs made paid dividends. There's no doubt about that. The over is 5-0 in the Spurs' last 5 road games, but the under is 6-2 in San Antonio's last 8 at Oklahoma City. We're going to talk about the Thunder, but before we do, allow me to tell you about a few promotions we have available, and let's get it started with the big one. You guys have all seen this one. Only $199. That's 50% off. You can only find this at Picks and Parlays. This is available for myself and any other handicapper you're interested in over at Picks and Parlays. $999 gets you every play, every sport, every day for 365 days. Why would you be interested in joining myself? Well, we absolutely nailed that Cavs Knicks series. We cashed in a prop bet on OG Anunoby over his points and rebounds in yesterday's video. That one also went out to clients. We're back on track with the NBA after struggling a little bit on Friday and Saturday. And man, the negative Nellies, let me hear about it in the comments, but I can't wait to see what they're going to say in the comments of this video because they can't complain about the last few days. That's for sure. If you're not following me on Twitter, you should be at Jesse Schule. Check out the pinned tweet. Long history of dominating in the NBA playoffs. This goes back over a decade. Check out the article. You'll be impressed. I'm sure you will be. Let's talk about the Oklahoma City Thunder. So, SGA was interviewed after Game 3. The crowd at San Antonio was cheering flopper, and he was asked, how does he feel about that? And he said he feels nothing. It means nothing to him. Well, I have my doubts because the pressure just gets greater and greater. It started out with a few media personalities and a few people on social media, people like myself, really having some strong takes on SGA's flopping. But now it's become very viral and very mainstream. In fact, Tom Haberstroh, a very mainstream media character working for Yahoo Sports, did a chart on SGA's flopping, and he showed that SGA is falling down on 28% of his shot attempts. And to put that in perspective, that's more than double, almost triple of any of the other elite floppers in the league. It's quite clear the fans are not interested in watching the style of play that Oklahoma City brings to the table. Yeah, I'm sure there's a few young kids that like to see that, and there's people from Oklahoma City, but the majority of NBA fans are turning against the Thunder, and they're turning against SGA. And he says it doesn't bother him. I don't believe that, because it affects his brand. Sponsors aren't going to be as attracted to him. He's not going to be as attractive to sponsors or to the league if fans aren't interested in watching him. And when he's flopping all the time, it's quite clear that the jig is up. People have figured it out, and they don't want to see it anymore. And I could actually tell by his style of play in Game 4. There was a few plays where he would normally choose to fall down, and instead he chose to give up the ball, pass it to a teammate, or force up a bad shot without flopping on the ground. I think he's well aware that he's under the microscope. Will that affect his play? I don't know. 6 of 15 from the field in Game 4. Typical night shooting for him so far in this series. 0 of 1 from three-point range, just 7 of 7 from the free throw line. Only 7 free throw attempts after 12 in Game 3. The big news for the Thunder, though, is A.J. Mitchell is out of the lineup. Jalen Williams is questionable with that hamstring injury that's been bothering him all season. It's impossible to believe that he's going to come in and be 100%. I have my doubts that he plays at all. If he does, he's not going to be as effective as you'd hope. After shooting 45% from beyond the arc in Game 3, the Thunder shot just 18% from three-point range in Game 4, and that was not a surprise, because typically when you see teams shoot out the lights, they usually have regression to the mean. And I mentioned that in my last video, but we had some comments. A guy named Nick says, OKC is just better. They have more of everything. And you cannot believe that just because OKC shot good the last game, they won't hit their shots in Game 4. Well, yeah, I believe in regression to the mean because it's inevitable. And we saw that in Game 4. And then we had another comment when I mentioned the bench. How long can your bench carry you in a playoff series? And we expected some regression to the mean there too. OKC's bench is full of starters. They are on the bench because they're the best team in the league. OKC wins again, too much firepower. I disagree that OKC's bench is full of starters. Outside of A.J. Mitchell, I don't see who starts on a championship team. Caruso's a great role player. I don't think Caruso's a starter on a championship team. Yeah, and sure enough, we did see some regression from the bench. One of the things that people fail to take account of is that the reason some of those bench players were scoring so much is because the focus was shifted off. They were allowing them to get wide open shots. As soon as they started taking away those wide open shots, Caruso in particular, that changed everything. And so where does that leave us heading into Game 5? This is clearly an Oklahoma City spot. You expect a response from the defending champions. They're back in their home building. It makes sense as a bettor to back the home team right here in this spot. You got to be concerned about those injuries, though. Mitchell and Williams, if both of those guys are out, where does the offense come? Where does the offense come from? Who's running the offense? And it's probably going to come down to the officiating. If they call the game like they called Game 4, Oklahoma City is going to be in trouble. If they call the game like they called Games 2 and 3, San Antonio is going to be in trouble. So I'm not going to give out a play on the side. I'm going to look at the total. We'll go under the number based on the injuries to the guards for the Thunder and the defensive adjustments made by the Spurs. But perhaps the best bet is going to be in the player prop market. I like De'Aaron Fox to go over 22.5 points, rebounds, and assists. He's coming off a double-double in Game 4. I know he's coming back from that ankle injury, but he's looking better and better. You expect him to improve as he plays through it, and I think he's going to be effective here. He's gone over that number in 12 of his last 15 starts. So Fox to go over 22.5 is the best bet for this video. If you like this video, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. You got anything to say to me? Even if it's nasty, hit me up in the comments below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can.